You are listening to Larry Conners, USA.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
This is Larry Conners USA. Larry Conners USA.
I woke up this morning, got myself a gun. Mama always said I'd be the chosen one.
Most of the local elected officials in South Texas are Democrats. That's long been a Democratic area of the state. I got to tell you, every elected Democrat I met with was so horrified by what's happening at the border. They said to me over and over again, they said, listen, if the Democratic Party is the party of open borders, count me out. I can't support this.
Senator Ted Cruz, Republican of Texas, September 23rd, 2021. Senator Cruz just finished a tour of various border communities. And as he pointed out, many of the elected officials, that would include the sheriffs, the various county executives, city executives throughout the border areas, are Democrat. It's a stronghold for Democrats. They are different than the Democrats in Washington by far generally, and they're certainly different than what we're seeing now from the Biden-Harris Democrat approach, and far, far from the AOC squad Democrats. But they still have a D after their name. But what they're saying and acknowledging, if the Democrat Party now stands for open borders, count me out. And they say that because of two things. One, yes, the Democrats did make those statements when they were running for office at the White House. Every single candidate appearing at a primary debate asked, do you support dropping the borders? It should not be a crime to come across our border. They all said, oh, yeah, no crime, no foul, no harm, nothing. We welcome all immigrants. We do welcome immigrants. The nation's built on immigration, but we welcome them legally. What's happening at the border right now has not been legal by a stretch, a very big stretch. The other point facing these Democrats that are in control of border cities and counties on the border of Texas is the fact that they live there. They're seeing the damage being caused. Those who are up in D.C. and Chicago and New York City, they don't see, they're not living in. And even in California, they're not really living in the midst of it. Oh, no. They're behind their moats, and the gates are raised where the illegals cannot get inside. We're going to get into that in more detail because some of those Democrats already switched parties. In the meantime, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, Democrat of California, says what is happening at the border is worse than slavery. Worse than slavery? Well, you know what? In a way, she's correct. In another way, she's not. We'll explain. And Afghanistan. Biden is glad to have you focus on the southern border and anything else. Don't go back and talk about Afghanistan. He hasn't for days. Out of sight, out of mind, which might not be so hard for Biden at this point. But we're going to go back into that issue, and the issue that still exists. How many Americans are there? We don't know because they're still not able to tell us. And this recent indictment of the Hillary Clinton lawyer, Sussman, you know what happens when you walk into a kitchen and you turn on the lights? Cockroaches run. If you got them in your house, they're going to be in the kitchen. You turn on the light, they scatter. This is what we're going to see happen as we get more information regarding this indictment because the dam that's been blocking Hillary Clinton's involvement in the Trump-alleged Russian collusion is breaking. Hans von Spakovsky, Heritage Foundation, expert on federal elections, testifying before the Congress yesterday. He's joining us today to tell us what he said and did he have any impact upon the members of the Senate as they heard him in this subcommittee. That'll be coming up later. Vaccines. More and more folks are raising questions about vaccines. And remember Nicki Minaj, the rapper? Maybe you're not a big fan of rap or even Nicki Minaj, but she had a question about the vaccine, and immediately she got slammed, even by Joy Reid of MSNBC. And Nicki said, what's wrong? You can't ask a question? This cancel culture is out of control. You know who else is joining her now on cancel culture is wrong? Johnny Depp and many other actors and actresses are recognizing when it turns and bites me, it's wrong. If it bites you, they don't really care. We have a lot to cover over the next 2 hours. Call your friends and family and say, we're on the air right now. You don't want to miss the next 2 hours because we've got so much material. Lock and load. Ready on the right.
You can hear podcasts of this program at Larry Connors USA Facebook. Larry Connors USA Facebook.